Now I could do it.
Yes, and also you can minimize that person's window by changing that view everyone. That options are available in the center portion.
So hide everyone. Okay.
Hi. Okay. Okay. Hide everyone or who is talking. Any option you can choose.
So let me start my presentation on solar thermal technologies and its applications. So we need energy for our various applications like cooking, lighting, heating, air conditioning, transportation, and our main focus for today's presentation, that is for industrial process heat and power requirement. But mainly I will be focusing on industrial process heat requirement. Yeah. So, as all of you are aware that energy sources are considered to be non-renewable if they cannot be replenished, or it cannot be made again in a short period of time and will deplete over time. So these four non-renewable energy sources are used most often. Those are oil and petroleum products, natural gas, coal, and uranium. And what are the renewable energy sources? The renewable energy can be used again and again, and it never runs out, unlike non-renewable energy sources. So all of us are aware of the various renewable energy sources like solar energy, bioenergy, biofuels, wind energy, small hydro, geothermal, and tidal. All these energy forms are renewable energy sources which can be used again and again. Nowadays, you must have experienced that the usage of renewable energy has increased. So what are the reasons for that? Because the higher prices of conventional fuels and the sources are limited. The user-friendly energy policies. Now government has implemented various policies which are easy to implement and follow. And another reasons are the awareness to conserve fossil fuel. All of us know that the fossil fuels are going to deplete over the time. So that awareness has been created among the people. Then reduced emission of greenhouse gases. As renewable energy does not produce any greenhouse gases, it is becoming popular, and which it controls the global warming also. And nowadays there are various renewable technologies which are available to us, unlike earlier days. And those renewable energy technologies are quite proven and popular also. So those are the reasons why the usage of renewable energy has increased over the last few decades. So basically we will be focusing on solar energy, and in brief I will cover what is solar radiation, solar thermal technologies, low, medium and high temperature solar applications. But as I told earlier, our focus will be on medium temperature solar applications and its integration with the industry's existing processes. And under this part, the main focus will be on CST technologies, that is concentrated solar thermal technologies, its scenario, what is the need of integration, the case studies, and what conclusions or guidelines we can take away from these case studies. So I will not discuss these advantages and limitations of solar energy, because all this information is very basic and we all are aware of this. So solar radiation spectrum, as most of you must have known, that the wavelength range from 250 to around 3000 nanometers wavelength, and under this wavelength we have UV, visible and infrared radiation available, and most of the solar radiation which is useful to us, that is for solar thermal technologies, is in the visible range, that is 400 to 700 nanometers. And I will explain this figure when the solar radiations are outside the Earth's atmosphere, that is called as extraterrestrial radiation. So outside the Earth's atmosphere, the solar radiation or sun rays travel parallel to each other. And as soon as they enter in the atmosphere, Earth's atmosphere, then there are certain interactions like scattering and absorption. The solar radiation is absorbed by the various gas molecules, water molecules, or other pollutants in the atmosphere, and some of the radiation is scattered due to the cloud coverage or any other yeah, there is scattering and absorption interactions which take place. So this scattered radiation is again redirected. So that is called as diffuse radiation. And some of the radiation that manages to reach the Earth's surface without change in the direction directly on the Earth's surface. So that radiation is called as direct radiation or beam radiation. And the scattered radiation is known as diffuse radiation. And the sum of this diffuse radiation and direct radiation is known as global radiation, which is available to us. And once the solar radiation reaches the Earth's surface, again it is reflected by the various objects which are present on the Earth's surface. So that is called as albedo radiation, but that is negligible. You can so it is, we don't take it into consideration. So global radiation is the sum of direct and beam radiation, you can say. And around 16% of the solar radiation is reflected back from the Earth's extraterrestrial surface only. So the radiation which is available to us is very dilute, whatever is available in the Earth's extraterrestrial region. Okay, so the terms which I explained just now are beam radiation, diffuse radiation, and global radiation. So the sum of beam and diffuse radiation is global radiation, which is the input energy for solar thermal technologies. Why I am explaining this is because that is the main input for our solar technologies. And there are various measuring instruments which are available for measuring the solar radiation. Like pyranometer is used for measurement of global radiation, pyrheliometer is used for measuring beam or direct radiation, and diffuse radiation is measured with the help of this shading ring type pyranometer. And if you see the radiation pattern throughout the day, in the morning the radiation level will be less, and as we proceed proceed ahead during the day, during afternoon time we observe that the solar radiation reaches at its peak, and again it goes on decreasing in the evening time. So this is a bell-shaped curve. So that much solar energy and solar energy pattern will be available to us for application or for usage, you can say. And now, are you aware of the solar energy, what way we can utilize it? So mainly there are two ways to utilize the solar energy. One is solar thermal energy. When is it called solar thermal energy? When it is converted to heat energy directly. And this energy can be used for heating water, heating spaces, heating fluids for various industrial process heat applications, for cooling and cooking applications. And another way of utilizing solar energy is solar photovoltaics. So solar photovoltaic cell is used here, which converts the sunlight into electricity. So it is a device which converts the solar cell is a device which converts sunlight into electricity. So how to use this solar thermal energy, that I will explain in brief. When solar radiation falls on this solar collector, this is a solar collector, and the absorber used here is black in color. So solar radiation is, as all of us know, that black color absorbs more heat. So it is coated with black coating, and the solar radiation gets absorbed by this collector or absorber, and the fluid which is flowing through this pipe will get heated. That heat of this absorber will be transferred to the working fluid, and as the working fluid gets heated, it travels upwards because its density is decreased or reduced. And as this hot water travels upwards, it is ready for use, ready to use for next or any other thermal application, you can say. So this is the basic working principle for all the solar collectors. And we will not go into details of solar photovoltaic, but as I explained, the solar radiation energy is converted into electrical energy by using this device called as solar cells. So what are the various solar thermal applications? Should the session be interactive? Should I ask you the questions or just go ahead with this presentation? So you can stop me
Better go ahead.
anytime. Yeah.
Better go ahead, ma'am. As and when
Okay.
required, they will ask questions.
Okay. So please stop
Please.
and ask me questions anytime if you feel so.
Okay.
Yeah. So the various solar thermal applications are for water heating, cooking, space heating, cooling, then desalination, refrigeration and air conditioning, then industrial process heat and solar thermal power systems. So there are various solar thermal technologies which are available to us. The two main categories are stationary collectors. As the name indicates, those collectors are fixed in a position. Those collectors are not tracking the sun's path or fixed at one position. Those are non-concentrating type collectors or devices. So under this category, flat plate collector and evacuated tube collector systems are very popular and widely used. But as there is no concentration, the temperature which is achieved by using these collectors is also low. And there are various types of evacuated tube collector system also. I'll explain it in brief in the next slides. And another type of solar thermal collectors is solar concentrators. So we all have used that lens in our childhood days for burning the piece of paper. We used to concentrate the solar radiation or solar energy on a small point, so the piece of paper can be burnt. So the same concept is used in case of solar concentrators, and the solar concentrators track the position of the sun throughout the day. That's why it is called as tracking collectors also. And some collectors track only in east-west direction. So those are called as single axis tracking collectors. And some collectors, they track the position of the sun in north-south direction also to accommodate the seasonal variations. So the solar concentrator types also I will explain in next few slides. But the only non-tracking solar concentrator is CPC type collector, that is compound parabolic collector. Why it is so, it will also be explained in the next slides. So this table shows you the typical temperature and concentration ranges of various solar thermal collector technologies. So these flat plate collector and evacuated temperature, those are non-tracking collectors, non-concentrating collectors. So the temperature which is achieved by using these collectors is also less, and it is non-tracking. Here you can see, and the concentration ratio is 1. What is concentration ratio? That term I will explain eventually in the next slides. And these are the other type of collectors which generate temperature from about 200 till 1200 degrees centigrade. And some of these collectors are single axis tracking, and some of the collectors are two axis tracking collectors. For low temperature solar thermal application, what are these low temperature solar thermal applications? You can see here for water heating, cooking, drying, desalination, pasteurization, space heating and cooling. By low temperature solar thermal application, we mean that the temperature range below 100 degrees centigrade. So there are many industrial processes also where the temperature in the range of or below 100 degree is required. So these are the various applications you can see. And all of you must have seen these type of collectors on the rooftops of many buildings or bungalows. So here, this type of collector is called as flat plate collector. Here, and this is the evacuated tube collector. The temperature range here is from 70 to 100. 100 seldom you get if you put reflectors and all below these collectors. But the temperature range is usually 70 to 80 degrees, and these are the very popular and proven technologies. Flat plate collector is being used since many years, but evacuated tube collectors came recently, like 15 years back or so. But now these collectors are more popular because it's simplicity and a high temperature, more efficiency at higher temperatures. These are called as evacuated tube collectors. So what is the working of solar flat plate collectors? This is the collector box. Inside this collector box, there is the absorber. These are the absorber fins. These are copper fins, and below these fins there are riser tubes. And this copper absorber is coated with selectively coated material. What is selectively coated? Means the absorptivity of this coating material is more than 90%, and the emissivity of this coating should be less than 20%. Then only the heat will remain here, and water enters through this header pipe. The black color absorbs heat. The water which is flowing inside the tubes, riser tube, gets heated, goes upwards, collected in this upper header pipe, and from where it is collected in the hot water cylinder, which is ready for use. So in some systems there is single tank also which can be used, but there has to be some head. For this is called a thermosiphon type system. So these are the various components which I already explained. The flat plate collector and evacuated tube collector, they work on both beam and diffuse solar radiation, and they do not require tracking of the sun. Hence, these are very low maintenance. As there are no moving parts, it is mechanically simple system. And these are the various types of flat plate collectors. You can say this is direct circulation type of or natural convection type of solar hot water system based on flat plate collector. And in some places where the water is not, there is dirty water or hardness of water is very high, and there is no provision of no softener plant is there. In that case, the water is not injected in the or inserted in the tank water, but it is circulated in a closed loop, and the heat which is generated is transferred to the water which is there in this tank. So it is indirect type of heating, you can say. And in some cases where there is water freezing takes place, then the glycol is used here, and so that the freezing in the pipes won't happen, and such indirect type of systems are used there. So typically flat plate collector hot water system works like this. This is the cold water. The blue line indicates the cold water which is inserted or injected in this solar collector. It gets heated, goes upwards, and this red line indicates the hot water which is collected here. You must be knowing that the hot water always stays at the upper portion of this tank. Of course, there is some stratification which takes place here, but mostly all the hot water is at the upper portion, and this water is circulated till the complete tank water is heated to certain specific temperature for which this system is designed. And then this hot water is either directly used for the processes, or it is collected in this tank. And whenever there is no solar or low solar, at that time some backup arrangement or backup water heater is also there, which is called as auxiliary water heater. In this way the solar flat plate collector system works. And for large capacity systems, the forced or pumped circulation is used, because the water flowing thermosiphon or with natural convection is not possible in this case. So there the water is circulated using pumps. So this photograph shows the 1500 liters per day system at a pharmaceutical industry, and this is how the flat plate collector system looks like. Then another type is evacuated tube collector. These tubes are still imported from China. The company Borosil, they tried manufacturing these tubes in India, but as we don't have that much volume as in case of China, each factory they produce around 50,000 or 1 lakh tubes a day. The demand is also high, and they supply these tubes to many countries. So the volume there is quite large, so they can afford these to manufacture these tubes. While in India, due to lack of volume, it was not cost economical. So still we are importing the tubes from China. The main components of this evacuated tube collector system are the collector consists of row of parallel glass tubes, here you can see, and inside the each tube there is a vacuum. So that I'll explain in the next slide. So the tank, tubes, and the structure. These are the main components of evacuated tube. So there are various types of tubes which are used for in these collectors, but in some tubes there is a copper pipe, the inlet of cold water, and the water gets heated, and this hot water is collected in this header pipe. This type of tubes are based on heat pipe based arrangement. So there is a heat pipe inside these tubes, and there is some liquid which vaporizes at very low temperature. So once it is vaporized, the vapors go upwards and the heat is transferred to the water which is flowing in the header pipe. Then again it gets condensed and comes down. So the circulation is keeps on going. But the most popular type of evacuated tube system which is being used in India is all glass evacuated tube. Here there is an inner glass, and the inner glass is coated with selective coating which absorbs heat, and there is an outer glass. In between these two glass tubes there is vacuum. So this vacuum eliminates the conductive heat losses and convective heat losses. So this is called as all glass evacuated tube, which is used in the evacuated tube collectors. So you must be aware that if we are in the northern hemisphere, the collector should be facing to south direction, so that throughout the day the collector will get some radiation in all the directions. But if you want ideal performance, in that case the collector should be placed at some tilt angle, which is latitude plus 15 degrees in the winter and latitude minus 15 degrees in summertime. But it is not possible to change the angle so frequently. So most of the manufacturers, they suggest that the angle of the collector is equal to the local latitude, so that the frequent moving is avoided. There are various applications of solar water heaters, like residential hot water system for hot water generation and house warming or space heating, you can say. And the large scale systems are used for hostels, hotels, or swimming pools, and for industrial process heating as a boiler feed water preheating. Then another technology is called as solar dryer. So there are two types of dryers. One is natural circulation and another is forced circulation dryer. Here the concept is same, but in this collector there are ducts. There are no riser pipes or header pipes required here. Here in the box is coated with black color and it is covered with glass. So what is the purpose of the glass? That also I need to explain, because the glass, we receive the solar radiation in the form of electromagnetic waves. So glass is transparent for this short wave electromagnetic waves, and once it enters through the glass, while uh, re-radiating, the radiation is in the form of long wave radiations, for which glass is opaque. So whatever heat is entered from this glass, it is trapped inside. That is called as greenhouse effect. So that is the purpose of glass, and also to avoid any ingress of dust and other things, this glass is there. So the hot air enters through these ducts. The absorber, which is black in color, gets heated, and that heat is transferred to the air which is flowing through this collector. That hot air goes upwards. Here there is a cabinet where there are perforated trays. So while moving upward, the hot air removes the moisture from that product, and through exhaust that air is out, and circulation is keeps on going. So this is called as natural circulation dryer, and another type of dryer is forced circulation. In this case, the collectors are placed on the rooftop, and with the help of a blower, that hot air is injected in this cabinet. Here also there are trays. From a lower side, the hot air is injected here, and the air moves upwards, as we have talked earlier. And while moving upward, it removes the moisture from the product which is kept here for drying. So one of the advantages of these systems or dryers is that you don't have to pay your attention throughout the day, that म्हणजे आपण म्हणतो पक्षी येतील का, dust त्याच्यात मिळेल का. So all these problems are avoided, and one more thing is the color is retained. जर तुम्ही काही उन्हात वाळवलं तर त्याचा कलर उडून जातो, but here the color as well as the nutrients are retained in the product. And many industries are using such solar dryers. Pune University, long time back, we have provided such dryers to Wakefield Industries, and they used it for drying custard powder. Another low temperature product is solar steel or solar desalination unit. So as I said, the basic concept is same everywhere. This is the collector box, you can say, and it has some tilt. Some tilt is given here to the glass. So water is filled up to 3/4 level here. In many remote areas or military areas, there is scarcity of potable water. Drinking water availability kami aste. So this unit can be used there for purifying the water. So water is filled here up to 2/3 level, you can say, and due to the black color, it absorbs heat, greenhouse effect due to this glass, and the water temperature is raised by 15-20 degrees. And due to the atmospheric temperature, there is a temperature gradient. So the condensation of water takes place, and the water droplets are accumulated below this glass cover, and here there is a channel. So this water is collected in this channel, which is the distilled water or potable water, you can say. And the output of such solar steel is 3 to 4 liters per meter square of this unit, this collector or solar steel, you can say. And for larger scale application, there are many such units, and these are used for faster evaporation of water. जे मिठागरं असतात समुद्र किनाऱ्यावर वगैरे, आपण मुंबईला वगैरे जाताना आपल्याला दिसतात ते. So the increase the evaporation rate of water, this technology is used. Then this is the domestic application of solar thermal technology, box type solar cooker. हा बऱ्याच जणांनी बघितला असेल तुम्ही. So since our focus will be on industrial applications, we will skip this. So there are many advantages of this box type solar cooker as well. And another type is dish type solar cooker. This dish type solar cooker or parabolic dish type solar cooker can be used for community purpose, community application. बऱ्याच आश्रमशाळा, NGOs इथे आपण हे वापरू शकतो. The advantage is that box type solar cooker मध्ये तुम्ही frying किंवा चपाती making करू शकत नाही. Only baking and roasting is possible. But using such type of parabolic dish type cooker, here, as we all know that whatever the solar radiation falls on a parabola, the rays are converged at the focal point. So here at the focal point, the heat is quite high, up to 250 degrees, the temperature we get at this focus. So here you can directly place this pressure cooker. आता ह्या साईजला around this dish is 2.5 meters diameter. So for this size of cooker, you can use 30 liter capacity of pressure cooker, and it can cook for 40 to 50 people. आणि जर गॅसवर आपल्याला साधारण 20-25 मिनिट लागत असतील एवढ्या कुकर साठी, सो युजिंग दिस टेक्नॉलॉजी सोलरनी थोडासा जास्ती वेळ लागेल, मे बी half an hour. So 3 to 4 batches can be taken in a day, and here you can cook rice or potatoes or some cereals. It can cook, and here you can place kadhai also for frying. But only thing, you have to stand in sun. So nowadays they provide umbrellas also with this type of cooker. त्या market मध्ये आपण वगैरे बघतो किंवा काही outdoor restaurants मध्ये. So such type of umbrellas are also provided. So this is also one of the applications of low temperature solar technology. And on all these products, there is some for solar concentrators. Earlier there was subsidy from Government of India, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy used to provide the subsidies, but the government schemes keep on changing. So you have to update yourself regarding whether the subsidies are available or not. Of course, there are certain advantages and disadvantages. Since aluminum sheets are used here, highly reflected aluminum sheets, if there are certain dents, then scattering of the solar rays occurs and the temperature at focus is reduced, what we get. So these sheets are need to be replaced every 3-4 years. And this is for this type of dish cooker, manual tracking is required. So every after 15-20 minutes, it has to be directed towards the sun. So these are the various types of solar cookers which are available. Then we come towards the medium temperature solar thermal applications, which is the topic for today's discussion. So what does medium temperature solar thermal application mean? Whenever the temperature range is from 100 to 250 degrees centigrade, this type of applications are called as medium temperature application. And high temperatures are above 250, and whatever you can achieve at the higher end, like 800 or 1200 degrees centigrade. And this category or medium temperature applications are mainly used for industrial process heat applications. So here, as I explained earlier, that the concentration ratio, the temperature of the technology depends on the concentration ratio. मगाशी मी जे सांगितलं, लहानपणी आपण त्या भिंगाच्या साहाय्याने सोलर एनर्जी एका कागदावर फोकस करत होतो. म्हणजे आपण काय करत होतो की suppose this is the aperture area of the reflector. So whatever solar radiation is incident on this reflector, we are converging it on a smaller area, receiver area, you can say here. So what will happen? The solar radiation intensity which was falling on the more area, more aperture area, we are converging it into smaller area. So intensity of the solar radiation will increase. So at that point, the receiver of this solar concentrator is placed. So where the temperature we achieve is quite high. So what is the concentration ratio? It is the ratio of the effective area of the aperture to the surface area of the receiver. That is called as concentration ratio. समजा तुमचा हा aperture area 100 असेल and receiver area 1 आहे. So your concentration ratio will be 100. So more the concentration ratio, more will be the temperature achievement. But of course, there is a limit. What should be the maximum concentration ratio? Because then this distance will increase. So it should be practically possible also. So the concentration is mainly achieved to increase the temperature. Reduced absorber area, so reduced thermal losses at higher temperature. So these are the advantages of this technology. So various components of the solar concentrator are reflector, which reflects the solar radiation on this receiver, and the tracking arrangement tracks the sun's position throughout the day. And then there has to be some thermal integration system and some instrumentation and control. So overall, these are the main components of a solar concentrating system. So higher concentration ratio gives higher temperature, and what are those technologies? That is explained here. This is flat plate collector. Here the optical efficiency will be higher, but the temperature which is achieved is lower, and the efficiency will also be lower for this at higher temperatures. So these are the various technologies and the collector efficiencies achieved. So today we will now we will move towards the CST technologies, CST scenario, need for integration. What I'll explain a few case studies and then integration guidelines. So the sun tracking or concentrating collectors are CPC type collectors, parabolic troughs, parabolic dishes, compact linear Fresnel reflector, central receivers. So these are mainly used for power generation. Here you can see. So this is CPC type collector. CPC where there is no tracking. This technology doesn't track the sun. So it uses the compound optics, which doesn't need tracking. So other side is it has a low concentration, hence the temperature which is achieved by using this technology is also low. Another type is parabolic reflector, which needs to be tracked. So parabolic trough tracks only east to west. This is the parabolic trough, and it tracks east to west. And the parabolic dish is another type of concentrator, so which is tracked in the east-west as well as north-south direction to accommodate the seasonal variation. This is dual axis tracking, this is single axis tracking. And the parabolic trough collector has limited concentration, so the temperature which is achieved using this parabolic trough will also be less than the temperature which is achieved using parabolic dish. So these are the various technologies and their temperature ranges given here. So CPC we already discussed, then we will see in the next slide what is Schaeffler dish, parabolic trough, CLFR, compact linear Fresnel reflector, parabolic dish, and heliostat. So 2/3 of the industrial process heat or 2/3 of the industrial energy which is required is in the form of process heat, and that process requirement is also below 200 degrees centigrade. So solar technologies are most fitted for these applications, and there is a huge potential for solar thermal energy for this particular process heat application. These are the commonly used reflecting schemes or concentrating solar technologies. So parabolic trough, here when the solar radiation falls on these reflectors, it is converged to this focal length, and at this focal length there is very high temperature because all the solar radiation is concentrated here. So through here at the focal point the receiver tube is placed, and whatever fluid is flowing through this receiver tube, it gets heated. So this is the working principle. And another type is this parabolic dish. Here the focus is point focus. Here we saw there was a line focus, so it was distributed on larger surface. Here, since the focus is point focus, the heat which is or the temperature which is achieved is also higher in case of this. But the one disadvantage of this parabolic dish is the receiver is also moving with the along with the this reflector. So all the piping and other accessories that are also moving along with this. So it's a bit complicated than non-moving receiver. This shows the CPC installation. Here below it is same as evacuated tube collector, but below these tubes there is compound parabola. So like this. So whatever solar radiation is falling on this compound parabola, there are two half parabolas you can say. So the radiation is redirected towards this receiver tube. So the temperature which is achieved using CPC type collectors is more than ETC tube collectors. Here you can achieve up to 120 degrees centigrade. And such large systems are connected together, and this is one of the installations which is there on the rooftop of a company. So this is how the CPC installation looks like. And this parabolic dish is Schaeffler. It is invented by a German scientist, Schaeffler, so it is named after him. This is also a single axis tracking, but manually, depending on the seasonal conditions, or after 3-4 days, you need to adjust it in the north-south direction also. So automatic tracking is east-west and manual tracking is north-south. And using this dish, you can achieve temperature up to 150 degrees. But earlier when I was in Thermax, we used this type of dish for cooling application. But then we found that this is not that suitable for higher temperature applications. best suited application using this Schaeffler dish is steam cooking application. It is more suitable because there the pressure requirement is less, like 1.2 to 2.5 kgs per centimeter square. So this dish, using these dishes, that much steam can be generated. So the applications are industrial process heat, process and comfort cooling, power generation. But as I told, it is most suitable for low temperature, means medium temperature, but low pressure steam applications. And these are the various applications where the solar Schaeffler dish can be used in various industries like oil and gas, steel, automobiles, food, pharmaceutical, etc. And these are the various applications like steam cooking for educational institutes, industrial canteens, hospitality segment, comfort cooling, laundry, LPG vaporization, cold storage facilities, etc. And this technology is suitable for medium temperature process heating and cooking applications. So this is the photograph of the system which is installed in Mahindra and Mahindra. There are around such 73 such dishes. Each dish has a area of 16 meters square, and 73 such dishes are installed in Mahindra and Mahindra for the cooling application of their penthouse requirement. This installation is here parabolic troughs are used. Parabolic troughs are tracked only east to west direction, east and west. So this is a single axis tracking. Such type of parabolic collectors are used for a 250 kilowatt solar thermal power generation plant which is installed near Shive village, which is near Pune. And Thermax has installed this system. This is a hybrid system. Part of the heat is taken from solar energy, and whenever solar is not available, it works on biomass. So this is around 650 collectors of 6 meters square each size has been installed here. You can see it's a big installation. And if anybody wants to visit now, it has been handed over to Pune University for research work. And the paraboloid dishes are quite big, 90 meters square, 100 meters square. The Arun dish, which uses Fresnel lens technology, that is 169 meters square. You can gauge the size of such concentrators. See, this is a big luxury bus, and this is the man is standing here. You can guess what big size these dishes are. That I already explained. The solar radiation falls here and concentrated at the focal point. Then another type is linear Fresnel reflector, which also is similar to parabolic trough, but by using long rows of flat or slightly curved mirrors to reflect the sun's rays onto the downward facing linear and fixed receiver. Here the receiver is fixed, line focus, and all it is down facing. So receiver tube is here below this cover. So this type of technology is called a linear Fresnel reflector. Each mirror can be tracked here as per the direction of the sun. And these are a few applications. This is installation is from Tirupati Devasthan. This is Arun dish. Here small Fresnel lenses are used. Each mirror has certain angle so that the solar radiation which is falling on these mirrors is converged at this focal point. So these are the various technologies which are available to us. And these are the industrial sectors where these technologies and the application of process heat requirement, like for food and beverage, the applications are drying, washing, pasteurizing, boiling, sterilizing, heat treatment, and these are the temperature ranges which are required for that particular processes. Similarly, in textile industry, chemical industries, or many other industries where the temperature range is below 250 degrees, these technologies can be fitted very well. Yeah, same. In pharmaceutical industry, steam or air is required. The temperature range is this. And these are the fluids used and the temperature ranges in other industries also. For the processes of laundry, cooking, cleaning, bathing, various temperature ranges are required. So I will explain you a few case studies. So here you can see these are the Schaeffler dishes and the receiver is placed here. In case of Schaeffler dishes, the receiver is fixed. This feed water piping, this is the feed water tank, the water enters in the system, and until the required steam pressure is achieved, the water keeps on circulating. And once the desired steam pressure is achieved, then it is fed to the system. Here, if the vessel is direct injection type, like if you are cooking rice or dal, direct steam can be injected here. And if you are using this steam for boiling milk or any liquid, then jacketed type vessels are used. Here the steam is not injected directly, there is a jacket, steam jacket, so that the heat is transferred to the fluid which is boiling inside this vessel. And whatever whenever the sunlight is not available or the pressure is low, at that time the existing boilers is used or are connected in the system. So this will stop this part and the steam from boiler will be injected here, conventional or existing system. So similar type of applications are for laundry. The scheme is more or less same, and other application is cooling application. Here the hot water which is generated, this is pressurized water because the temperature requirement is above 150 degrees centigrade, but that too in it should not vaporize, it should not be in the form of steam. So you need to maintain the or pressurize that water using nitrogen blanketing, and then the hot water is fed into the vapor absorption machine like this. So earlier, this was the philosophy of integration, but now over the years and by the experience, we have come to the conclusion that which I will be explaining in the next slides. Just to show this, here the parabolic troughs are used for cooling application. This installation is there in Solar Energy Center. Earlier it was called as Solar Energy Center. Now the name is changed to National Institute of Solar Energy, which is in Gurgaon. So here they are using it for cooling purpose, cooling application. Yeah. Now let us compare this scenario. Do I have time or I am running? Yeah, we have half an hour still. So if you look at the CST scenario, you have the fossil fuels available, then like diesel, biomass, furnace oil, and the cost of that fuel is 1.2 to 6.3 rupees per kilowatt hour. The capital cost is as low as 0.2 to 0.9 rupees per lakhs kilowatt peak. And the area efficiency, what does area efficiency means? How many kilowatt hours you get per meter square of solar area. So you have seen the photographs of solar installations. So out of that, how much energy you are getting per meter square of solar area, that is called as area efficiency. That is 160 to 640 kilowatt hours per year per square meter for CST type of technology, concentrating solar technologies. For example, the building where you sit, it has some area. Whatever most energy you get out of that area is better for us. So energy efficiency is the range that the CST efficiency is that is what is delivered to you, because there are losses. So like transmission losses and other losses. So considering those, you will get efficiency of around 12 to 85%. So this is quite a huge variation. We'll see why it is there. The cost of the CST as delivered is 2.7 to 83 rupees per kilowatt hour. Why this variation? Depending on the technologies. So in the next slides, you will come to know why there is so much variation. And if you consider, if you look at the PV, photovoltaic technology is more commonly seen these days. and that is very popular because of its simplicity. So what is the difference? If you look at the PV, fossil fuel based electricity is 3 to 22 rupees per kilowatt hour. Why this 22? If you are using genset or diesel, then it is 22. If you are using other fossil fuels and conventional electricity or power plants, it is less than that. And the capital cost is 0.4 to 1 rupees, that is in lakhs per kilowatt peak. So if very large scale plants are used, then the cost is lower, and if you are using the rooftop plant, then the cost will be up to 1 lakh rupees per kilowatt peak. Nowadays the prices have come down, but for the sake of these calculations we will consider these figures. Here the area efficiency is 110 to 140 kilowatt hours per year per square meter. So you can compare. For CST, it was quite high area efficiency as compared to PV. The final cost of PV comes out to be 9 to 22 rupees per kilowatt hour. PV, the system efficiency of PV is high because the losses which take place in case of PV are less, but the efficiency of PV modules or PV panels is 12 to 18%. So you get less energy per meter square. That's why this figure is this figure has come out to be less, but the cost of overall PV is less as compared to CST. So also there are a lot of policies which support PV, like subsidy, and because there is a government policy to install photovoltaic installations on every government building. So obviously there is more proliferation of this PV than the CST technologies. And since it is simple installation and less maintenance, this technology has become popular. But if you look at CST, all these underlined points, these are the advantages of CST. What we need to do is there is a wide variation. If you can cut down it up to 6.3, then it is viable. We need to bring this back by improvements in the through the technology. So how much cost we can reduce, that is important. So it is very clear that CST has good advantages and good efficiency cost ratio. But most important is it needs to be integrated. The integration technology should be right. So how it can be achieved, that I will explain you. So first, let us understand what is process heat. Any industry needs heat is normally through boilers or oil heaters or thermic fluid heaters. And as per the analysis done till now, in industries up to 250 degrees centigrade, a huge amount of fossil fuel is getting consumed, as well as lot of heating is done using electricity. Out of that, 10% can be substituted with solar, depending on the area availability, which is considered as good amount. So one of the plus point of solar energy is energy security, because it will be always available to us, unlike other fossil fuels. So it can be called as truly distributed energy, green and sustainable energy solution. So with this in mind, how do we ensure that most of the energy from the plant gets used, whatever is available to us, how best way that can be utilized? So now the question is, why integration? In any process plant, the boiler is the most important utility. If the boiler fails, the whole plant will shut down. And if the plant is shut, the losses are high. So there is always a standby boiler, because industries can't afford to shut down. So 100% solar is not possible. If somebody says that I want to replace my existing plant with solar 100%, that will not be possible, because the area requirement for that capacity with solar will be quite high. And the second most important thing is, if I open the wall, the steam should be available to me. And this solar plant, it is climatic condition dependent, or solar radiation availability dependent. So if sometimes it happens that there is very low solar radiation, so you won't get the required steam. So 100% replacement is not possible. And if the usage also gets varied, if you have a boiler capacity of 10 tons, Then sometimes you will use 3 tons, sometimes you will use 9 or 10 tons. So you don't use exactly 10 tons. So these are the practical things why 100% replacement is not possible. The plant can be run 100% on solar because the major concern is area availability and the solar radiation varies. So output will also vary. So we can have solar as a supplementary process heat, as a partial substitution of fossil fuels. Whatever solar heat is available or you get, fossil fuel will be saved. So hence integration of existing source is very important considering the demand. If the requirements are not met, no plant will go for solar. Hence the integration comes into picture. So you have to integrate solar technologies with the existing solar technologies and you don't have to replace it. So there are a lot of areas where solar heat can be used. For example, as I explained earlier, food, chemical, pharma, paper, textile, automobile, and in the temperature range of 60 to 400 degrees. So now we will go to the various cases and understand the requirement and integration technology and how it makes the difference in the overall cost of available energy. So this is the case 1, you can say. Boiler feed water integration. In any boiler, water is fed to make the steam, and this boiler water is always expected to be heated to 60 to 80 degrees to remove the oxygen and other things. So it is as per the IBR regulations we are supposed to do it. So boiler feed water is heated by steam. There is also condensate return in the boiler if you have seen boilers. So condensate is pure water, it comes back, it also has heat. So most of the plants save energy through this condensate return energy and water, and whatever water is lost to steam and other things, it is made up through the makeup water. My arrow is to this makeup water. This is a very common picture that you have boiler feed water tank. Then the steam comes in, condensate comes in, makeup water comes in, and it is maintained at 60 to 80 degrees by steam, and a high pressure pump feeds it into the boiler. And every day, 20 boilers are added in India every day. So there is a huge potential for water heating using solar. So these 20 boilers are of average capacity of 1 to 2 tons per hour. Now, if you see this picture, what is the conventional engineering? This is where we need to think of integration. In any conventional boiler, feed water preheating, we have the separate unit of solar collectors. These are the solar collectors. Then tank in which the water gets heated to 80 degrees centigrade, and once it gets heated up to 80 degrees centigrade, it is then fed to the boiler feed water tank. Here, existing boiler, once it gets heated, it is fed to the boiler feed water tank. There are many such plants in India, but what is the disadvantage of this system? See, now this thinking is new thinking. Earlier, this was the common picture. This is how the solar integration was done. But recently, as per the advanced thinking and experience, the disadvantage of this system is the same system is replaced like this. See here. We have solar field here, the pump, and the solar tank. The makeup is put here, and the solar tank makeup is put here, and the solar tank water is fed into boiler feed water tank here. Then if there is low solar radiation temperature in solar tank, the temperature won't go up to 80 degrees. It will be say only 40 or 50 degrees. The fundamental thing we need to understand that if you heat 1 liter of water by 10 degrees centigrade, you get 10 kilocalories, that is MCP delta T. I think most of the teachers are engineers, so they understand this. So if you heat 1 liter of water by 10 degrees centigrade, you get 10 kilocalories by MCP delta T. And if half liter of water, if you heat to 20 degrees centigrade, you get the same 10 kilocalories. So as far as the fossil fuel goes, it doesn't understand the temperature. It will say 10 kilocalories. So if you feed it at 40 degrees centigrade or at 80 degrees centigrade, it won't make any difference as regards to fossil fuel. So, but it makes a huge difference in solar because your efficiency at 40% is more. The losses are much lesser. At lower temperature, the losses are much lesser. Therefore, whatever makeup comes into solar tank, straight away it should be fed into the boiler. Maybe at 30 degree, 40 degree or 50 degree centigrade, whatever temperature, let it go to the boiler feed water. Rest can be made up by the steam automatically. It's anyways automated system. So the most important thing in solar system is in the evening the solar field shuts down. Sorry. But it is heated. जेव्हा आपण खूपदा संध्याकाळी बघतो की आता सोलर सिस्टम तर बंद केली आहे because there is no solar radiation, but water inside the collector is still hot and the heat is lost overnight. So this is the net loss in the solar energy. So if we are able to extract this solar energy completely, we will get a better efficiency, and which is possible. Continue to feed this water from solar tank till at night the solar tank water temperature equals the ambient temperature, so that every kilowatt heat can be extracted. And second thing is use solar as generated and balanced by fossil fuels. We should not wait till the temperature reaches 80 degree and then use it. It can be continuously fed as generated. So when the radiation is low, actually the efficiency goes up. When radiation is higher and demand is low, the temperature can go up. Then so with this arrangement, we can install any capacity. So what typically is being promoted? So if you have a single roof on your boiler house, put a solar system. Whatever capacity you get, convert it. Suppose if you need 100 kilowatt hours in solar tank and you get 20, it's okay. It will be 20% substitution instead of 100%. But the mindset that I want complete solar is not feasible. This change needs to be brought in, and this way we can use solar at its 100% capacity. So what guidelines we develop from this experience is recover heat in the evening, use solar as generated and balanced by fossil fuels, use whatever area is available. Solar heat fraction will only vary. Instead of 100, you will get 80, 60, but the heat will be utilized. So this is the installation of solar boiler feed water preheating in one of the FMCG companies. So 206 solar collectors comprising of total reflective area of 618 meters. Here the makeup water is preheated before adding to the existing feed water tank so as to reduce the fuel consumption at the boiler. For that purpose, this is used. Hybridized with existing system for seamless process performance. And another one or two more case studies we will discuss, so it will be more clear to us. So, okay, so this is the case 2. This is a thermal power plant in Telangana. It is 100 megawatt power plant and it requires a lot of feed water, around 500 tons per hour of feed water to be heated from 70 degrees to 105 degrees. So how it is done? Steam is extracted from the turbine and it is heating. So here solar can fit very well. Earlier it was heated by steam at 6 bar at 130 degrees centigrade. So solar should generate steam as per the expectations of this plant. So it can be fed, and it can be fed in as shown here. Solar should generate 130 degrees and fed here. It can be fed as shown in this figure, and substituted the steam extraction to save the fossil fuel consumption. Now, so as you see here from the calculations, you need a huge amount of energy. around 23 megawatt thermal energy is required for this plant, and that has to be provided through steam. So whatever the area is available here above and around this plant, you will get, it was possible to get only 800 kilowatt thermal energy using the space available. Now the same integration, here you see the same integration can be modified and can be utilized in a more efficient way. How? You see, in this system, I know how much water I am heating and I know how much energy can I get from solar. So why heat the water at 130 degrees? Solar can generate steam, no doubt, but the same thing if you just do it with 36 cubic meter water per hour out of 500 cubic per hour, you can just heat that water to 70 to 90 degrees centigrade. You will save the same amount of fossil fuel as I explained earlier, but your efficiency of solar field will go up by almost 15 to 16%. So look at the cost reduction straight away by 15 to 16%. And in addition to that, you won't need any pressure vessels, and other accessories can be avoided if you use this arrangement. So one of the rules in solar or guidelines in solar is try to use it at lowest temperature to get the maximum efficiency. See, and in earlier days we were promoting these high temperature technologies, but then over the years we have come to the conclusion that use the solar system at its lowest temperature to get the maximum efficiency. Lower the temperature, higher the efficiency, since losses are less. So lower the temperature, lower the cost of the collector. So exactly the same concept is now being utilized at NTPC Dadri. This is the plant which is commissioned now, and Dadri is a power generation plant. Any power generation, there is a preheat being done from 45 to 50 degrees to 230 degrees centigrade. So this all preheating is done by solar thermal, and it is increasing the efficiency by about 24% conversion efficiency of that particular portion. So that means your turbine is going to generate more solar power. So this another case study is from a bearing plant in Karnataka. So the bearing plant has a solar field of parabolic troughs, and this is parabolic troughs, and it is used for pre-cleaning bath. This is the pre-cleaning bath for its component. So how do we integrate? Typically, you look at the present integration. This is the present integration. So this is the existing system, particular system. So what typically is done? You have a separate parallel system and integrate it with the existing system. So now the disadvantages of this is what will be your solar temperature. About 140 degrees is required for this process. So the solar temperature need to be 140 degrees. So instead of that, after looking at how much area is available, how much energy you can generate, the solar field is kept in series now. So this is the modified or the advanced integration, you can say. The return temperature is from this process is 117 degrees, because it has only rooftop area available. The temperature which is allowing it to go is up to 120 degrees and not 140 degrees. So it is in series with the existing boiler or the fossil fuel plant. It takes, then further it is taken or heated up to 140 degrees, given it to the process, and again the temperature drops down, and the available or input temperature to the solar field is 170 degrees. So this is running seamlessly without any problem since more than 7-8 years now. So what is the advantage? First, the solar efficiency has gone up. Second major advantage is the system which you would have put as a parallel system. The cost has come down because your rest of the balance of the plant is the same. And the third major advantage from the process heat point of view is you don't have to bother about the integration. It is the seamless integration. The moment solar radiation becomes zero, the bypass will automatically open, and the system, this bypass will automatically open, and the system runs without any attention. So now with this type of integration, the reliable integration, no need of any shutdown of the plant, even if solar is not there. So such type of integrations are required. So this is the installation from Mahindra and Mahindra Nagpur. This is for electric heater integration. Same type of philosophy is used there. But earlier the system was quite complicated. The solar field, then it was collected in the water tank, then heat exchanger, it will pump again, and then to the water bath, and this is auxiliary heater. But now whatever from solar heat, whatever heat is generated, it is pumped into the bath. Rest of the heat, balance heat, is through this heater. So it's a simple integration, and whatever solar is available to you, you are using it. So for this solar preheating of hybrid power plant, which is installed in Shive, as I shown you in earlier slide, here for water preheating, a separate CPC based system was installed. So the modified version, when as I mentioned earlier, during evening hours, whatever heat or heated water was available in this collectors, it was taken to boiler drum, so that the initial temperature of that boiler drum was increased, and that was available in the next morning in the process. So you need to understand the process. By using this arrangement, the 68% increase in the heat use. Earlier you were using this much heat. Now with this type of integration, the heat usage was increased by 68%. So you need to understand the process use pattern to maximize the solar radiation, solar utilization. So this is another system which is installed in IISc Bangalore. Here earlier the solar field used to generate some hot water. It was collected in the steam drum and then it is given to laundry. And whenever solar was not available, it was through diesel fired backup boiler. But most of the time, due to solar variations, this was creating problems. So then it was connected to the existing boiler, and the efficiency of the and utilization of the solar energy was increased. So from these experiences and from these advanced philosophies, the guidelines for integration, what takeaway we get is use whatever area is available for solar concentrators for boiler feed water. Use lowest solar temperature possible to increase efficiency and reduce cost. Then that is for power plant preheating. Then use residual heat in evening to increase the solar heat gain. Use fossil fuel to meet high temperature need, and solar for kilowatt hour inputs. Keep it simple and straight. From Nagpur plant we got this. And then understand process need for design and integration, that is hybrid plant. Use point closer to the solar field. Here whatever solar heat is generated, it was fed to the existing boiler, so the point of application should be closer to the existing system. So this is how the integration or advanced integration philosophy should be used for maximum utilization of solar energy. So that was all from my side. So now, if you have
Great, ma'am. It was a great presentation, wonderful presentation, and you have covered almost all the solar thermal technology and its application. And integration is a great part. That is, you are doing great things, or that sharing great things, where we can integrate the solar or the renewables to enhance the performance of the and to conserve the energy, the fossil energy. So, any questions you can put on the chat box or WhatsApp.
How to come out of this now? It's a bit confusing to me.
You can cancel share that. Stop sharing is okay. Yeah, that's now you come out. This.
So I want to see everyone. Yeah. Okay. So was it complicated, or did you understand anything? Whatever I explained.
Now you are presented in a such a way that it was made it very simple, actually, all the calculations and all the things and how it can be used. That's great.
Thank you.
Anybody Any questions?
No, if anybody asks any question, I will be glad.
Yeah.
हॅलो
Yes.
हॅलो नमस्ते मॅम.
Namaste. बोला.
हा आपल्याला भाजीचं जे ड्राय आहे ना लिफी भाजीचे ना काय व्हेजिटेबल्स त्याचे ड्रायर बनवता येतं आपल्याला.
हो, ड्रायर्स
Solar-
अवेलेबल आहेत. बरेच वेगळे ड्रायर्स वेगळ्या प्रकारचे अवेलेबल आहेत. आणि इव्हन आम्ही आमच्या इथे पण म्हणजे पुणे युनिव्हर्सिटी मध्ये पण काही ड्रायर्स आणि आधी मी तुम्हाला आता जे दाखवले मला माझाच इको येतोय. काय माझ्या बाजूने प्रॉब्लेम आहे की काय? ओके. सो आता मी तुम्हाला जे दाखवले नॅचरल कन्व्हेक्शन टाइप ड्रायर किंवा फोर्स सर्क्युलेशन त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही काही पण वाढवू शकता. फक्त तुम्हाला हीट कंट्रोल करायला. So every product has different heat requirement. So if you can adjust that. म्हणजे आम्ही सगळंच ट्राय केलं याच्यात चिकू पासून तर व्हेजिटेबल्स वगैरे सगळं. याच्यात कसं आहे रंग तुमचा रिटेन राहतो आणि न्यूट्रिशनल कंटेंट सुद्धा रिटेन असतं. आणि जे आपण बाहेर ओपन मध्ये वाळवतो त्याच्यात जे डस्ट येते पक्षी येतात ते सगळे प्रकार याच्यात अवॉइड होतात आणि त्याची तुमची मार्केट व्हॅल्यू सुद्धा वाढू शकते याच्यामुळे. क्वालिटी ऑफ प्रॉडक्ट चांगलं असले. तुम्हाला हेच विचारायचं होतं की आणखी काही म्हणायचं होतं? हॅलो.
Mari sir, you can unmute and ask.
आवाज नाही येत आहे माळी सरांचा.
He has already unmuted. Let him ask. Any?
तुमच्यापैकी कोणी हे इन्स्टॉलेशन्स बघितले आहेत का कुठे?
Need to check actually. I have seen most of them some installations actually, but I don't find that others.
वॉटर हिटिंग सिस्टम्स बघितल्या
Hello.
असतील. हा सर बोला.
पाठक मॅम
सर.
मला ते जे व्हेजिटेबल ड्रायर आहे ना तो बघायचं होतं. म्हणजे कुठे बघायला पुणे युनिव्हर्सिटीला बघायला भेटेल का?
मला आवाज येत नाहीये सर तुमचा.
आवाज येत नाही का?
आता येतोय. हा आता
Unmute च आहे. हा तर मला ते विजिट करायचे होते. ते ड्रायर कसं काय व्हेजिटेबल ड्रायर.
आमच्याकडे ते आता जे अवेलेबल आहे वेगळ्या टाईपचं ड्रायर आहे. पण तुम्ही येऊ शकता कधी पण स्कूल ऑफ एनर्जी आमचं जे टेस्ट सेंटर आहे पुणे युनिव्हर्सिटी तुम्ही व्हिजिट करू शकता.
बर चालेल मग. थँक्यू मॅम.
माझा नंबर आणि ईमेल आयडी सरांकडे आहेच खोत सरांकडे.
That will share on the WhatsApp group so that anybody has any doubts they can directly contact ma'am.
चालेल सर. धन्यवाद. थँक्यू मॅम.
Yes.
Jamadar sir,
अजून काय?
Khadi sir. Anybody else just ask?
Any question? Any question from participant? Please ask.
तर यांचं मला थोडंसं असं विचारायचं होतं की बॅकग्राऊंड काय होतं पार्टिसिपंट्स. ऍक्च्युली आय शुड हॅव आस्क्ड दिस क्वेश्चन अर्लियर.
Actually, their faculty from so most of them are from mechanical as well as electrical degree diploma, and few are from the industry. The title is energy conservation and audit. So this time we have purposely added one lecture on solar thermal. One is on solar PV also. Yesterday it was on solar PV because it is essential even in energy audit. Once we complete that energy conservation or it reaches to saturation, then in energy efficiency, and at the same time we should go for this solar or the renewable applications. That wherever what you say is correct, wherever the space is available rooftop, industry should install some boiler feed water or wherever it is essential. So that is essential. But sometimes, ma'am, the payback is a big issue for that. Even we have recommended for one of the textile process unit, but the payback bit creates some problems. Actually, they are not ready to invest that amount.
So, sir, in case of solar thermal, with earlier philosophy, integration philosophy, the payback period used to come. It is not at all viable for cooling applications because the payback period comes to be quite high. But the philosophy which I explained, the advanced philosophy in today's presentation. So, if you
Correct.
use that philosophy, then you can get maximum from that technology, and your saving of fossil fuel will increase drastically. So
Correct,
the
correct, correct.
integration technology is very important, how you integrate. And if you are waiting the temperature to reach till that, suppose for Mahindra and Mahindra, we have installed this Schaeffler dishes, आणि तिथली रिक्वायरमेंट होती 150 डिग्रीज, पण ते आम्ही हार्डली कधी 150 मिळाले. मग 150 ला जर तुमचा वॉल ओपन होणार असेल तर मग तुम्हाला सोलर मधून काही मिळणारच नाही. फॉर व्हेरी फ्यू टाइम यू विल गेट द इनपुट. पण आता मी जे सांगितलं ते तुम्ही जे काही मिळालं ते जर फीड करत गेले आणि त्याचा जर तुम्ही कॅल्क्युलेशन, यू विल ऑब्झर्व की देर इज लॉट ऑफ फॉसिल फ्युएल सेव्हिंग आणि तुमचा पेबॅक पिरियड सुद्धा वाढेल त्याने.
Correct. Now, even for ma'am, that one of the textile process unit, we have considered ETC, that system, solar flat plate with ETC tool.
Keep the technology simple, then only people will use it. And the cost of the plant reduce.
Even that CPC is also, that is best for the medium temperature, no? Or how will comment on the CPC technology?
I am convinced about that technology very much, that it is the simplest technology with quite a good range of temperature and no maintenance. So CPC life is
no tracking is required. Yeah, true. It is. That is very simple.
Yes.
But the construction might be different, no? That if you want to construct that CPC for the bigger concentration, because what CPC, you shown that for that ETC with that curvature, you have shown that CPC, no? That ETC with CPC.
Important. That is an issue. Correct. That is important. So we don't have manufacturers for that, but it can be developed here. Right now, all these components are being imported. Only tank part is manufactured here. So that is the constraint. And anyways, we are importing ETC also. So along with that,
now, ma'am, similar to the parabolic trap, suppose if you construct a CPC for the 100 liter, only single tube pipe, and if you maintain that flow of water passing from one to other with expecting temperature around 90 degrees Celsius, so whether it would be beneficial or it would be as compared to
can be achieved, but with CPC you can go up to 120 degrees because there is compound parabolic. So the
again, what happens, ma'am? If you go to higher above 100, then again the pressure need to increase, no? Then
yes, but it hardly goes. 90 to 95 degrees is achievable using CPC.
Yeah, that would be better, I think.
Yeah, you don't need to pressurize the water.
If it go to 100, then again it will create problem in the phase because of the phase change, that pipe material dimensions. That
you need to increase the flow.
Yeah, that is better instead of going for phase change.
Correct.
So for my that one doubt is for the integration with the CPC, is it okay to reach up to 80-90 degrees Celsius than going above 100?
85 is most advisable.
Okay.
That range of temperature is required for many applications. For LPG vaporization also we need 85 degrees. So CPC is best utilized. And anyways, we have to add the auxiliary heating system. So the gap should be fulfilled by the additional or backup system.
And in most of them textile
काय करायला पाहिजे म्हणजे फाईन ट्युनिंग साठी आपण वेगळं एक करायला पाहिजे टँक. But whatever is achievable by using these collectors, that should be fed into that tank.
Correct. It should not be end use. It should not be the direct application.
Directly नको ते. The balance the heat requirement should be with the existing. म्हणजे आपण हे existing ला जर series मध्ये दिलं तर it will be more beneficial.
Correct.
And so balance
once
of
ma'am this COVID is over, we we will invite you in person to visit our institute. Actually, it was pending since I think 3-4 years it is
Yes.
pending. So this
Yes,
time I
sir.
thought at least we'll invite online at least. And
Thank you, sir.
whenever the COVID gets clear, that we'll invite you personally, and we'll visit some of the industry also. We have textile and manufacturing also. There we'll see
Yes.
how it can be used, this solar technology. Okay.
So in all earlier installations, the earlier old philosophy is used, wherein we used to wait for the desired temperature to achieve and then integrate it.
Correct. It is better to maintain that that we need to optimize. No, again, at what temperature, that optimization is important.
Yes. But still, whatever energy we get, it should be utilized. And by using this philosophy, it is possible to utilize the solar output 100%.
Correct. True. Sir. True. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am. It was nice interaction also. Khade sir,
Hi, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
please just.
So just I propose a vote of thanks. So on behalf of Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, I thank Dr. Anga Patak madam, who accept our invitation and deliver a very nice session. She nicely explained about the solar thermal technology available for different temperature ranges. She also discussed case studies for air heating system, boiler feed water heating systems for industrial and commercial building applications using the solar integration system. So I once again thank madam for sharing his experience and his knowledge, her knowledge to our participants, and it will be definitely helpful for the participants to enrich their knowledges. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
sir.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And we'll be in touch. Actually, we'll do some good things in association with the university as well as our course. Okay. Thank you.